Today we are going to talk about a very fun, very useful tool, and it's called Canva. So what I'm going to have you guys do today is I am just going to share with you a high-level overview of what Canva is, what it can do for you. I'm going to tell you about a lot of its features, but then also I'll show you several of the things that I've been able to make within Canva, and then I'll show you the site itself. So you can kind of get a look and feel of what it looks like when you're going to be using it. It is very, very user-friendly. It's not anything to be intimidated by, which is, I think, its most endearing feature. Sometimes when we talk about graphic design, that can be very overwhelming and very intimidating. And it also usually requires you to know very complicated programs that none of us have time to learn. And if you're not a professional graphic designer, which a lot of us are not, this makes it easy for you to become one. So with that, let's go ahead and dive in. So we're going to talk about Canva. There are beautiful designs that are already within it, and you can easily search for whatever you're looking for. For example, when we had Lum Edwards come in and talk to us with his friend John about the flood maps and flood insurance and all of that, I just went into Canva and typed the word flood or water, and I got a background to use to advertise the fact that they were coming in. So it's very easy to use. You can choose from over 1 million images that are uploaded into this thing. This is a presentation.
Oh, okay.
So we'll get to the site in just a bit. So thousands of also customized layouts. So it's not just still images. You can move things around on a page to best suit your needs. So if you guys are thinking of creating flyers or posters or anything like that that requires multiple images with text and whatever else, different elements, those are there as well. It's very simple to edit your pictures within this app as well. There's lots of filters that you can use. You can crop them, you can turn them, you can add frames, which will basically allow you to drag a picture into whatever shape you want it to be put in, which is nice. And it's good because it's something that you can use to collaborate. So if you guys are working in team environments, which some of you are, you can share your designs with each other if you each have a Canva account, which is nice. As is the case with most things, there's a free version of Canva, which is what I use, and then there's a pro version of Canva, which some people use. Until I feel like I need the pro version, I'm good with the free. I think there's plenty of options within the free version that you can utilize and have success with. These guys have both been playing in it, Ashley and Stacy both, and you guys aren't paying for it. You're using the free version.
Yeah, I play for free.
I paid.
Okay.
I wanted to resize stuff, and you can't resize anything. You have to remake it.
What stuff?
Like if you have something and you want to put it on an 8.5 by 11 instead of on a postcard, or
like something you've already made. Okay. So
you have to pay to resize.
who can use Canva? Anybody is the short answer. If you're a blogger, if you're a marketer, if you're a business owner, which all of you are, if you're a teacher or student, anybody can use it, which is my favorite thing. You can post social media graphics. The little templates that I mentioned earlier in the images, they're already sized for Facebook, for Instagram, for Twitter. A lot of that, the hard guesswork, is already been taken care of for you. So that's one of my favorite things. There's also templates for different invitations, business plans, presentations like what we're doing right now, business cards. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. And I'll show you what that looks like. So we're going to talk about how to get started. And as I mentioned, there is a free version, there is a pro version, but step one is to create your account. At that point, you can choose if you want to go the free version or if you want to go the pro version. The website is Canva, Canva.com. Canva.com. And the very first screen that you're going to see is it's going to ask you to create an account. So very easy to find. From there, you just get to play with it. You get to search anything that you're looking for. There's layouts. You get to look at all of the text. There's tons of fonts in there already that are outside of the box or what you would normally see within maybe a Microsoft program or application. There's backgrounds that you can use to layer in to still say that you wanted a blue background, but you wanted to spice it up a little bit. There's other textures and backgrounds and gradients that can be used to really oomph up your design. Uploads. You can upload your own logo, your own images, your own photos into Canva, and it keeps them, which is nice. I do that all the time. So again, creating an account, that's the website. So canva.com. And then the search feature. A couple of different ways to search. I am a big fan of keyword because if I know what I'm looking for, it's just quicker for me to find it. If you're not sure, they categorize them by these little categories here. So grids, shapes, frames, icons, images, that kind of thing. So if you're like, okay, I've got my picture and I want to add little stars next to it, you could just type the word stars, or you would see it under shapes. And so they categorize it to make it easy to find, but I'm just a big fan of a search bar. If you can do it in one step, why would you do it in two, right? Okay, grids and images. So this is a new thing, new for me anyway, that I've recently discovered, and I love it because basically you can take an uploaded photo and you can put it into a grid or a frame, which those are two different things, but they're very, very similar, and it'll duplicate it. So this is the grid, right? So there's basically, a grid is, think of it like a photo placeholder, okay? So this is the grid. You move this over into your little design, you drag your photo into it, and there you go. So you can move the little image within that grid too. So maybe you have a picture of two people, but you only want to show one. You can double click on that image and move it to where it's just the one person, which is really cool. So endless opportunities to customize your designs and make them your own. These are the frames that I was telling you about. So these are used again as photo placeholders. Okay, so you can use them to resize your image. So most images are pretty rectangular or square. When you move them over, it's now going to be perfectly situated in that little shape. And there are tons of frames that you guys can choose from. And it just kind of makes them more decorative, I think, when you place it on to your design, rather than just a square, flat picture. Okay, icons and infographics. So I mentioned this a second ago. So the top 500 graphics that are all floating around your Facebooks, I'm sure, that was done in Canva. All of the happy Remax 1 anniversary graphics that you see floating on our Facebook, all of those are done in Canva. And so a lot of times you'll see little icons, whether they're stars or you'll see the little medals, like you've won an award, all of it. I mean, all of that is in the icon folder within Canva. Again, you can search for whatever it is that you're looking for. So say that you're trying to do something for spring and you type in flowers or sunshine or spring, it's going to come up with hundreds upon hundreds of choices that you get to play with. And all you do is drag and drop. Okay. Shapes. Shapes are good because they allow for you to totally transform the way that your design looks. So again, you can go the basic route, which is this guy over here, but then when you incorporate maybe this guy on top of a square, you completely change the way that the image looks. And there are so many different shapes. There are graphs that you can incorporate too. So maybe you're preparing something for a seller and you want to show activity, or if you want to show something about within your own business plan, for example, there are graphs that you can customize to your liking visually, which I think is another cool feature. But shapes are wonderful because they add a lot of dimension to whatever it is that you're playing with. Okay. Now, within Canva, there are what's called contributors. So these are designers who upload content into the site that other people can use. So if you find that you are drawn to a certain type of photo and the way that it looks visually, you could figure out who that contributor is, which is right here. And you can search by that name. A lot of that's going to be a professional or a pro version feature, but that's just something that if you guys are drawn, like I know Ashley, you recently completed a project from a designer who she really liked the way that it looked, and she actually recreated it for herself without having to go and pay for the template. But if she wanted to, she could search by that person to see all of the other designs that they've already uploaded. So let's talk about some layouts, because this is another really cool thing that is going to drastically reduce the amount of time that you guys would have to spend creating something fun and interesting. So there are, again, thousands of templates that are already in here with fonts, with colors, with shapes, with background images like what you see right here, the sunset going on. This is really good if you're trying to advertise like a lunch and learn. I'll usually come out here and just grab it and then make it customized for us. Again, you can search by keyword. You can look for like by time of the year or seasons. There's all sorts of really cute backgrounds that you can use just by clicking on them. But good news, you can customize them. So for example, when you guys see, do you see this font right here where it's a little bit thicker, it's a little bit more blocky? If you didn't want that to say Australian Outback, you would just double click on it and you could say whatever you want. Or if you don't like that font, you can change it. So it's not set in stone. So don't think, oh, if I choose this one, then I'm stuck with the way that all of it. Maybe you just like the background and you want to completely change the text. You can do that.
So can you change, does it change all the texting in the slide?
No. So these, what you'll find, and I'll show you guys what this looks like in real life. What you'll find is these are going to be grouped together. You will just double click on what you want to change, and then you'll see all the fonts drop down, just like you would in like a Microsoft Word document. Okay, so again, this shows how you can customize a pre-made layout or a pre-made template. So this is the one on the left that we started with. So maybe you're drawn to this semi-transparent background. I would be. I think it looks great. But you're not quite into the sky. They've customized the background image, and it looks like they have also, they kept the fonts. So yeah. So don't just think, oh, like, in other words, if you like certain elements of what you see in one template, you can use those and then customize it as much or as little as you need to. Okay. Speaking of text, there's all sorts of little options. You can just add text, which will allow you to pick and choose size, font, color, the whole thing. Or you can use what's already built into Canva. So if you want a heading, that's going to be a little bit bigger, and it's going to move it to be a little bit bigger, size-wise, so that it's more appropriately balanced on the image that you're going to be working on, which is nice. And so if you wanted to use like this little bit of body text, when you click on that, it's going to be sized appropriately so that it's not a heading, that it's just kind of like the details of whatever you're trying to share. Does that make sense? Okay. Here's some examples of text and text holders. So these are fun. And I'll show you what these look like. It's really cute because when you see stuff for like restaurants and they're categorized this way, it looks like logos. I mean, it really does, the way that the text is kind of placed. I use this all the time, and it's a good way to kind of cheat if you're not if you're not good at choosing fonts that are really, really good with the image that you're going to use. Absolutely build upon what Canva has for you, because there are so many good options that you can play with. So I know I'm moving a little bit quick through the nuts and bolts, but once I get through this, I'm going to bring you into Canva so you can see some examples. So let's talk about some colors. Maybe you are a minimalist and you don't really want a nice fancy background. You just want a nice, pretty solid color. So you can do that. You can just choose a solid background, and there are hundreds of little colors in here, but you can also use the spectrum to choose a custom color. Fun fact, if you want to make sure that you're using the correct Remax blue or the correct Remax red, you can Google Remax blue or Remax red, and it'll give you those little hex codes that you can copy and drop right in here so that you know everything is according to what the Remax brand standard asks for. I do that all the time. Love it. Okay. Choosing a Canva background, again, it provides a backdrop, right? And it's textured. It looks like something you could touch. And this is good sometimes, I think, like especially if you're maybe preparing something about maybe how to stage it, or if it's a certain season of the year that you really feel like could benefit from added texture as a background, then by all means. I don't know that this is something that you would need all the time. I think you can get as much bang with a more minimal background or a flatter image as you could with something that's more textured. Uploads. Okay, so we talked about this. You can upload your own images, which is great because like when we welcome a new agent or when we are adding a logo onto this, that's where you would do this. You would just upload it and then you click it here and drag it over, and I'll show you how that works. It's wonderful because they stay here. So once you upload them into your Canva, you don't have to upload them every time. They stay there to where they're readily available for the next time that you're going to use it. You can, and I have not done this, but you can sync up your Facebook with your Canva account. So if you've got images within your Facebook that you would want to pull over, maybe it's like a house or something that you've shared recently, it should allow you to do that depending on your own privacy settings. Again, I can't speak to it intelligently because I have not synced my account with it because I use Canva for work. And so I didn't sync it to my personal Facebook account. Did y'all do it? Have y'all synced it? No?
I did.
You did? Okay. Okay.
You upload all of your pictures?
No, you just tell it when you want it to go there. Like, you know how you click the publish button?
Well, maybe I have, because I have sent it straight to Facebook. I just don't pull it.
This was talking about uploading from your Facebook. Like if you had an image or something on your Facebook that you wanted to be in Canva. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about some helpful tips, right? Say that you are perfectly happy with the design that you've made and you're not sure how you're going to use it yet. Canva will allow you to download it as an image, and it could be a JPEG, which you guys are familiar with, or it could be a PNG, which is a high quality image, which is nice because if you're pushing out to a website or social media, it likes PNGs. Web environments like PNGs. They like JPEGs too, but PNGs are about as good as it gets. It allows you to do that. Or maybe you want to make it a PDF. You can do that too. So there are lots of different options that you guys can choose from when it comes time to saving it, and you can just download it straight onto your computer. Sharing and collaborating. So we kind of talked about this too. You can share it straight onto your Facebook, which is what they were talking about a second ago, or you can send it in an email. So maybe you're going to prepare a flyer for an open house, or you're doing an invitation to, maybe it's an invitation to talk about a listing or something like that, something kind of creative and in that wheelhouse. Send it straight to your seller's email address or to your buyer's email address or to another agent that you're working with. Right? It goes on and on. I mean, you can look at this 1,000 different ways, but a really cute little feature is right here where you can share it as an editable design. So if you want to collaborate with someone and you say, hey, I really like where I'm going with this, but I can't quite get it right. Will you look at it? They can click on it and move things around and say, how about this? So it'll allow you to share and collaborate until you get it just the way you want it, which is pretty cool. Mm-hmm.
To get help.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
Hey, Kristen, how do we make this look good? She's like really good.
Canva also allows you to work with what they call pages. So maybe you have a multi-page document. You can continue to build upon. So say that you think your design requires one page, but then you get into it and you're like, oh, it looks a little bit crowded. I really could benefit from a second page. You would just create a new page within your design and keep going, which is nice because it allows you to create packets or booklets or something that requires 2, 3, 4 pages. Most of the time, what you're going to be using it for, I think, is probably just a one-page type of image or something that you're going to push out on social media, but who knows? Just know that that option is there if you ever needed it. Okay, you guys ready to see Canva? All right, minimize here. Oh, hello. All right, switching screens. All right, so this is what Canva looks like, you guys. So this assumes that you have already, hang on really quickly, I'm gonna hide this. Okay, this assumes that you've created your account. Okay, so this is what it looks like whenever you log in. You'll see you've got a sidebar menu here where you can instantly create a design by clicking on that turquoise button. You can see all of your designs by clicking here. A brand kit, that's if you have like Remax Red, Remax Blue, certain fonts that you're drawn to, you can kind of save and customize them as your own. which is really great for consistency because we know that with brands, consistency is the key for repeated recognition, okay? You can see anything that's been shared with you. You can see folders that you may have created. And then over here, this is that search bar that I was telling you guys about. So if I wanted to post something like, if I wanted to make a business card, I just typed in the word or started typing the word business, and here we go. I can design a horizontal business card, or I can design a vertical business card. Maybe I'm interested in a presentation. Here we go. So there's this standard presentation, or you can go into a different aspect ratio. So again, lots of different options that you can play with. If I want to make a Facebook post, I just typed in Facebook. Maybe I want to make an ad or a Facebook cover photo. All these templates are in here just ready for you guys to use them, okay? If you know something that you're working on, say that you know that it has to be this many pixels wide by this many pixels tall, you can also input your own custom dimensions here where it says custom dimensions. Sometimes if you're working with like third-party graphic designers and they say, oh, I need it to be here, or if you're placing an ad in a newspaper or something along those lines, they may tell you I need it this by this. That's what they're talking about there. Hey, who joined us?
Hi, how are y'all?
Hey, good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
So good to have you back, Nicole.
Let's see if I can turn this. I joined without a video, so of course you're going to hear me but not see me.
That's okay. I just minimized this video panel, and so I didn't see your name pop up, and I was like, oh boy, who is it? Because the doorbell was ringing, like somebody joined us.
I'm sorry.
Sure. So glad you're
I'm a few minutes late. I'm sorry.
No worries. So just so you guys know, Nicole has just joined us in our Mont Bellevue office. So we've got a full house here who's waving at you and saying hello. So glad you're here.
Sorry, guys, to interrupt.
No problem. We actually just went through kind of the nuts and bolts of Canva, and now I switched screens to where we're looking at what Canva looks like in real life. So you're right on time.
Thank you.
Yes. So let me show you guys a couple of other ways to get to where you're trying to go, right? So if you know what it is that you're looking for, maybe it's a presentation or maybe it's a poster, you can also find them right here. And this is a little carousel, so you can just click on this arrow and you'll see all of the different types of templates that are already there. So say that I want to create something for, okay, a flyer. Let's look at a flyer. I'm just going to click on flyer, and then I'm going to show you what I mean when I tell you that there are so many templates. If it'll load. Let's be patient. Are you making a flyer right now? Good.
Overachiever.
Yeah. Okay, so here we go. And it is a little bit slow today, you guys. So say that you're creating an event. These are some of the templates. Maybe you're doing a marketing flyer, something that's promotional. And here's the best part. So say that I really like the way that this has two different colors going on, right? But I'm not crazy about cookies. I can click on those cookies and I'm going to hit delete, and there they go. So it's truly customizable. I don't ever want you guys to think, well, I really like that, but it won't let me change it. Okay, so I'm just going in here and I'm hitting delete. I'm clicking on the cookies and I'm deleting them. Say that I'm not quite crazy about the beige. I click on that where it's beige. You'll see this little beige guy pop up. You click on him and look at all these different picture or colors that you can choose from. So maybe I want it to be purple, right? But not crazy about the pink. Okay, I'm just not into it. I want to make it green. I've made it green. All of this page, to answer your question, so these are all clickable. So if I changed here, I'm not changing here, which is nice. Say that I want to change that. So I just double clicked on it just like you would in any other Word document. You'll see the fonts right up here. Click on that and check this out. There are so many to choose from, which is fun. I think part of playing with this kind of stuff is just trying to pick which one you like the best and which one you think is going to tell the story the best way. So maybe I'm going to want it to be a little bit more narrow. Okay. It really is as simple as just clicking on it. Okay. Over here, this is kind of where your options are going to live. Okay. So right now, this one is lit up because we're working within the template screen. But say that I want to be able to include a shape. Okay, so I'm going to click on elements, which you can tell, I mean, these look like little shapes, so it's easy to kind of find them. Now, over here are these grids that I was telling you about. So say that I'm going to use a grid. You would just click on the arrow to open up your options. Look at all of these, you guys. There's so many. And again, think of these as placeholders for your photos.
Where'd you find the grids? I'm sorry.
Under elements.
Okay.
They're under elements.
So you don't have to use a photo. You can use like quotes and stuff or something. No, like you can use like you see. I don't know.
Okay, you guys. So what I did, I just clicked on it and I dragged it over. Okay. You can resize these to be little or as big as you want. Okay. So I'm just going to put these over here so y'all can see what I'm doing. Now I'm going to go over here under uploads and you guys are going to see, like, there's Emily. Hey, Emily. There's Remax one. There's Danielle. So you can kind of see like what I've done, what I've played with. This is the Bridge City office. So I'm just going to drag this over. Check that out. So I can stick that there. If I'm not crazy about the angle that's being shown, I can just click on it and then move it one way or the other. Okay. Okay. Say that I want to put Emily next to it because she's a part of the Bridge City office. Again, I'm just going to click on her picture. I'm going to drag it over into that grid. Same thing. I can double click on that and move her to where it's a little bit cleaner. And so now you've got two perfectly aligned images. You don't have to worry about is one higher, is one lower. They're perfectly set. And again, if I want to, I can move this as a whole unit, which is so great. So you don't have to worry about doing one then the other. Because if you've had to do that before, you know how not fun that is. Okay, so that's how grids work. Let me show you how a frame works. Let me get rid of that. Little trash can up at the top. So when you click on something in your design, little trash can lights up, you can get rid of it. So going back into elements from your menu over here on the left, to get out of whatever selection you were in before, just click this X at the top. It's gonna get you right back, okay? So let me show you a frame. Frames are awesome because they really kind of elevate what would just be a normal rectangular picture. You can make them any shape that you want. So I'm gonna drag over this cute little, little guy right here. Actually, hang on. It does kind of look like a cookie. So now I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put Emily in here. Okay, I'm gonna go back to my uploads, or you know, let's use Danielle because she's so cute. Let's take Danielle and I'm just gonna drag her over here and it's gonna center it for you, which is so great. So now look how cute she is in that little shape. We don't have to do anything. We can make it bigger, we can make it smaller. Okay, just like that.
So you can overlay it on top of the words and then you won't see the words either?
Correct. Yeah, or if you didn't want the words, just delete them. Yep.
You can make the background and then just use that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I love frames. It's something that I have used a lot lately, and I just think it just makes it easy. I don't have to worry about it looking flat on the page anymore. You haven't used the frames yet? Love it. Okay, back into elements. I'm going to go ahead and click out of those. This is the search bar that I was telling you guys about. So you'll see kind of the ones that I've been looking for. Star, because I just did stars, and look how many there are. So many cute little options. And again, say that you like this one, it's yellow. You're not crazy that it's yellow. It's going to pull up every color that's in that star. So this darker color, which is on the outline of the star, not really loving it. So I'm going to change that just by clicking on the darker color and then making it whatever color I want it to be. Yeah, it's really fun. And I feel like it just gives you a lot of options on really making something your very own. And more importantly, making it the way that you need it to look for your team or for you or for whatever event that you're trying to do. Or maybe you're you're partnering up with another organization who has very specific colors. You can use those colors. Or maybe you're doing something with a school during football season and you need, you know, oh, bless you, you need black and gold or you need red and blue or whatever. You can do that in here, which is fun. Okay. Do you have any questions on what we've seen so far?
So if you're wanting to use the Remax colors and you go online, you get it.
Mm-hmm.
How do you copy the URL?
Let me show you. That's a great question. Let me move this down so y'all can see. I'm going to open a new tab. Whee! And let me move this over here. Let me just move this, make it easier. Okay, so what I just do, I just Google Remax Blue every time. Remax Blue, and it's going to bring up a few search results within the Google, as Charlie likes to say. And this first top one here, this Remax brand color hex codes, that's what I click on every time. It's going to show me the red and it's going to show me the blue. So when you click on the red or the blue, just one click, do you see how this little guy pops up, this E11B22? That's the hex code that is the Remax red brand color. Same thing with blue, just has a different number. So I'm going to click on that. It copies it straight onto my clipboard. I'm going to go back to where I was in Canva, say that I don't need the purple anymore. I'm going to click on purple, and do you see this right here? See those little numbers? I'm going to paste it, and there's my blue.
And does it stay in there permanently?
Not forever, but I think you can as part of your brand kit, but I think that's a pro feature. Okay, so that's how that works. The brand colors website that I just showed you guys, that if you need to know the McDonald's yellow, you can find it. Or if you're looking for, you know, Whataburger orange. Yeah,
cool,
same
though,
thing.
yeah.
So, just a quick question.
Mhm.
Aren't there's probably other companies or online design companies besides Canva, I would assume,
Mhm.
and with everything that's going on today. So
Mhm.
why use this one?
I think this one is just the easiest.
Okay.
Um,
Shop, you shopped them?
yes, and I'm somebody who has Photoshop. And I have used Photoshop for years. I mean, for years and years. And
Which I'm not going to because
It's entirely too hard.
yeah.
it is very
and
complex.
expensive.
Very well, it's $10 a month because they moved it to the
I'm
cloud.
thinking of the photo.
Which one?
That's
Yeah.
it. It
Yeah.
used to be like
It's
$1,000.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's $10 a month if you do subscription.
through the cloud, which thank goodness. And
They're
that's
gonna get their $1,000.
the version that I have, but it is so complex. And I think the most endearing quality that Canva offers somebody who has no experience in graphic design is its ease of use. There are so many things that you just have to click on and drag, and then it's done. It's not like you have to learn little intricate tools within the program. So you're not having to learn and go so deep on something when it's there for you, but it still gives you the freedom to make it the way that you want it without having to spend enormous amounts of time creating it.
Yeah, because there's a program I use, and when I use it, and so if I want different fonts, I have to go onto the website, get all these fonts, download them, and then upload them into the
Yeah.
site. And that's just a pain in the
I've
butt.
had to do that. It's like Stone Age.
I don't
It
like
is.
Yeah.
It is. And
this
so,
way, they're already, I mean, because you got,
mhm.
so this way there's more.
No, I've been, I've dabbled in this forever because I used to
It's
do
a photo
the
page.
newsletter at the radio station and
Mhm.
everything.
Mhm.
And I always wanted everything to be easier. I could never understand why it couldn't be more user friendly.
I agree.
Truth.
So this is the easiest
Yeah.
I've ever seen. I just wonder because there's got to be more than one company.
There truly are. And I find myself repeatedly going back to this one. And I'll tell you guys, and I told Ashley too, when I first was introduced to it, I hated it. I did not like it at all. I was like, this is lame. I'm just going to use Photoshop. But after you've worked in this and you go back to Photoshop and you're having to recreate the wheel and create every piece, every element, you're just
Yeah.
like, I'm over it.
And then you've got to glue them down and they start,
They move around, then you have to add the masks and the layer locks. And you can do all of this in there.
But the big difference is that I tried Canva the first time on my phone, and it is not like this.
Oh, yeah.
It is
The phone way
definitely-
harder than the computer. The computer is awesome.
Mhm.
I would highly say.
I'm always after the better mousetrap.
Yeah, I think we all are. Anything that we can use that we're not going to be frustrated with, that we can get the results that we want. And what's better is all of this is available. And like I said, I've used it for probably 3 or 4 months now. And I haven't felt the need to switch to a pro version yet. So I'm not paying anything for it, but I'm spending $10 on Photoshop and I will say Photoshop allows me to do some things in it. Like if I need to make something, take something and make it more transparent, or if I need to really modify or do some pretty hard editing, then it's there. But for the most part, I mean, I'm playing in this. Showing you guys also, there's some lines that you can play with too. So I'm still working within the elements screen. So we talked about the grids. We talked about shapes. Let me show you guys the shapes. We talked about the frame. So here's all the shapes, just standard little shapes. This one I love. This is fun because okay. What I like to do with this is make it a part of the background. So I'm just gonna drag it and drop it where I want it. I'm gonna make it bigger, just like that, just like you would do with any other program you've ever used. So now the issue is that it's sitting on top of everything else.
Right.
So I'm gonna click on it, and this little position guy is gonna allow me to move it backwards. So backward, 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 to where my text is coming forward. Just like that. And then maybe, I might click on it again. Maybe it's too bold for me and I wanna make it a little bit more transparent so more of the color comes through. Just like that.
That is cool.
So I like that too. Just kind of dresses it up a little bit. Okay, so that's in shapes. Getting back into elements, you have gradients that you can choose from right here. So click on all, that's how you access them all, okay? So if you wanted just to kind of make it more fun, you can click on this guy. You know, just play with it. Again, you can change the colors. There's blue. There's my yellow. Let me change the yellow to this Remax red. So again, you can brand whatever you want. Yeah, you can rotate it with this little guy right here. Just like that. Okay, so y'all have any questions on elements before we move on?
Did you lock the picture of her inside that little?
That's a frame.
Okay.
So that's also found within the elements menu. So all the frames are right here. So if I wanted to say, let's add a picture of Emily, and look how cute these are. Like you can put, like say that you want to upload a picture of your Bitmoji, for example, into Canva, and you want to show it on a little example of a cell phone, you would just drag your little Bitmoji in here, and there it is, which I think is the most fun thing. Let me show you guys. So I'm going to do a computer monitor instead. So there it is. Okay. So you see the cloud, that's your photo placeholder. So I'm going to go back into my upload. Say that I want it to be our logo. Okay, let's just do that. I'm going to drag it over, and it's going to snap right into place. There it is. See it in there? I'm going to click on it, make it small. Come on. It's not wanting to mess with the ratio of it. So if I wanted to do the Bridge City office, for example, no, just like this. Just like that. Okay, so that's another example of a frame. You can click on it to move it up or down. Most of the time it's going to default to the center, just like Danielle. Like I just dragged her over and it snapped into place. The frames work that way, which is really cool. So I'm going to get rid of that one. Let me show you guys some other ones. All right, so there's also little lines that you can include too. I'm a big fan of the dots. I just think that's so much fun. There's a whole bunch that you can play with. Looks like chalkboard, like a chalk smear. There's like a paint smear. There's all sorts of different ones. Icons, so this is cool. Little heart pulses, light bulb, which is fun, the phone, all the normal ones that you would expect to see, email, there's social media, the map pin location. I mean, these are just, you could spend hours just going through the options. I think that's a pro feature.
I haven't been able to find how to use it.
I would not be able to speak intelligently on that because again, I have the free version. But I do know that there are animations because when you go to save it, it'll say, do you want to make this an animation? And it'll give you that option too.
Can you put your Remax little things that we
The stickers?
Yeah.
Maybe. I would think if you save them as PNGs, I bet you could. I bet you could.
I made all mine transparent the other day.
Let me share with you guys the text. So I want to show you some examples of what that looks like. So here's those options that you are familiar with. So you can add a heading, which is going to make it big. Okay. Or you can do a subheading, which makes it a little bit smaller. Or you could add a little tiny bit of detailed text, just like that. Okay. And so if you're wanting to change the font, you just double click on it, and then there's all your font choices right here. Okay. The other fun thing is, look how cute this is. This is kind of like those, what I would call like template text. So things that like, for who doesn't think of Valentine's Day when they look at this text? You know, so they've chosen very appropriate fonts for the text and for the message, the overall message. Okay, that's kind of what I was trying to explain, which is very difficult without having to see it.
So there's a label.
Okay,
A
let's
what?
see.
Oh, Labor Day. I thought you said Labor.
Nothing specific, but it does give you a few other options. This one is really cute. I mean, definitely speaks Christmas to me.
Yeah.
But if
Happy Mother's Day would be Labor Day too, yeah.
if I didn't want it to say that and I wanted it to say, you know, like Danielle, it's going to be formatted the same way as what you see here, which is really cool. So if you're like, I really like the way that that text looks, but I don't want it to say Happy Mother's Day, you would just click on that and then make it say whatever you want, which is awesome. Okay.
Don't turn out so big you're gonna have to post it. Just give Danielle a shout out. Just for
Ah,
that.
let me get rid of this.
Just because.
Let me get rid of this one as well, just to clean it up for you guys so it's not so crowded. You can also select multiple elements at a time. Like when I clicked on that add a heading right here in the document, if you hold down the shift button and click the thing next to it that you also want to get rid of or move, it'll select all three of them just like I did right there by clicking on them and holding down the shift button. So I'm going to get rid of all three of those. Okay. Now, any questions on the text? And again, there are so many that you can play with, and they're right over here. Look at the hugs and kisses one, how cute. Yeah. So fun. Okay, let's look at backgrounds since we're here. Here's your solid background options right up here. So if you guys are more minimal and you like that, that's where those colors are going to be found. This one is one of my favorites, this little white one, and it's got a very subtle little etching to it, which I think is fun. Yeah, yeah, and you can also make these more transparent as well. So if you didn't really want them to be as obvious, you could make them very, very slight, which I like. If I don't want that anymore, get rid of it. Now it's gone. But over here,
Rid of a font, the other font's gonna grow a little bit.
it might be an optical illusion
Okay.
because I haven't touched those.
It's, I guess they're standing out more.
They might be.
Okay, cool.
They might be. So yeah, check these out. You can look by color. They group them by color. So if you're like, okay, it's St. Patrick's Day and I want something green, just scroll through and you can see all the ones that are green. Then we move to yellow and then orange. Do you see how it kind of moves that way? Then pink and purple. Yeah, so play around with it. This one is really pretty. So much. Okay, do you have any questions on the backgrounds? That's pretty self-explanatory, I think. The biggest things with Canva is if you're not pleased with something, you can click on it. These are all elements. So if I wanted to move this down, I can move it down. And I like it too. Do you see those little pink dash lines? That's going to tell you where your alignment is. Are you truly at the center of the document? Yes, which is very Photoshop-esque. Melanie, if you've worked in that, then that you know what these look like.
Yeah.
For sure.
I built one while we were sitting here. There's another to say, but it you know, none of them think exactly like you think. That's
Right.
why, yeah, it's frustrating. I'm looking for the one that thinks like exactly like
That's not gonna happen, Melanie.
I know, because it's kind of weird in here.
Yeah.
And it's kind of different from me here.
I would love to share with you guys too. I just went back and clicked the home button on the Canva website, and what it's going to do too, it'll save things as you're working on them. But like anything else, it's good to go back and do a file save when you get to a point where you're like, oh my gosh, I love this. I'm not quite done. Save it. But let me show you guys. This is where a lot of my past designs live, which a lot of this should look familiar to you because I'm using it to push out on our super secret Facebook page all the time. So like this one we just did. So that's Emily. This is our staff worksheet. So this is what I turn in every Tuesday for our staff meeting. Oh, look, Stacy, Certificate of curiosity, I make that within Remat or within
Congratulations.
all of it.
Yeah.
All of it.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna reckon that, yeah.
All of it.
Which they're very nice, they're very catchy.
I like your headshots.
Oh, thank you.
Wait, what is that you're making? Is that your border for the top of Facebook?
So I wasn't,
I'm like, that's pretty cool.
yeah, so this is the business card template, and then this one I think is the cover photo template. So yeah, again, there's Danielle's announcement. There's the VA loans. I just typed in like Memorial Day or Veterans or USA, and that's what came up. There's the flood zone one that I typed in like rain or flood or whatever. There's a calendar. I just switched it up one week because I was at home sick and I didn't have my files with me. It could just go on and on, which I just love. So all your designs are kept right there.
You can share them.
And you can go in there and
Yeah.
change them too if you want to.
You can, yeah. So that's what I do with these staff worksheets. So this is the one that we just did this morning, and you can click on any of these, even the ones that were way down the list. You'll go in and edit them. You can also make a copy of them, which is what I like to do a lot of the times. Rather than reinvent the wheel, I'll just go in right here, file, and make a copy. And then it'll duplicate the entire document so that you can just manipulate it the way you want. You can title it right here. So like when I go in for next week or for this week and I make a copy, it's going to be called 820 worksheet. You can also make this a little bit bigger so that it's not super difficult for you to move things around. Just like that. Okay. And then up here where it says publish, there's also that little arrow, which you guys know that means to download it. So when you click on download, I have the option if I want it to be an image, a JPEG, a PDF, and then Paige, this is what I was talking about. You can make it animated if you're using the pro version, but I've not done that, so I would hate to tell you how it works.
Well, I
I don't
ordered
know.
it. I paid for it. So I'm gonna.
Okay, let me know how it
I
goes.
will. Yeah, I already paid.
Make me
for it.
dance. It's not that expensive.
No, it was $4. I don't know.
It's like $50 a year.
Yeah.
It was something like that.
This
$4.
publish button
Yeah.
that's right next to the download arrow, this will give you the opportunity to push it straight out to your social networks. You can also connect your Google Drive. So if you wanted to keep it within your Google system, especially if you're in a collaborative team type environment where you wanted everybody to have access to it, that would be a good place to put that. And then you can also print, which is fun. And then you can also embed it. It'll give you a code, like if you're doing any kind of HTML website work, it would give you that. So, I mean, pretty much anything you could think of, it's going to give you that option. And that's how Canva works, you guys. And like with anything else like this, I feel like the easiest way to get to know it is to play in it, because you're going to figure out what comes naturally to you, what you're drawn to. But if you do have a question or if you get stuck, just let me know, and I'm happy to play with you.
Kind of what I want to do with it is because I do all Lynn's listings is because you can add pages. I want to know. I want to see if it's going to move pages. So I guess I'm going to project.
Okay. Yes. Do y'all think you're going to use it? Or I know these two are using it.
Yeah.
Melanie just made something over there. Overachiever. Perfect.
It's not perfect, but it's.
Y'all, look how cute this one is. Look at ice cream party. Hang on.
I thought it was today. I'm very upset. It's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
Want
so.
the ice cream party?
I was so
Yes.
excited.
Don't you have an ice
Mark
cream?
wanted this.
Here, they bring that.
Everybody thought it was
I-
today. That's so funny.
Look how precious that
I
is.
just said yesterday.
What time is it?
Tomorrow
I
at
just said
1:30.
yesterday that They haven't brought the ice cream truck yet this year.
I'm not gonna stay away.
Do they own that ice cream truck?
No, they hired that guy, and he comes and rolls up the parking lot and raises up the window. And last year, I just got flooded, and Mark went over there and got like 2 or 3. He just, because, he's, Texas Regional's putting the bill, so just bring your family.
They're only here for, I think, like 15 or 20 minutes because they go from place to place.
They make the
But
rounds.
That's
Yeah.
why that's probably why they only did 15 minutes for Mark got 3 last year.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody else back out there.
Nicole, did you have any other questions while we have you online?
No, I don't think I do. I've just been watching and learning. I was tried to get into it myself and was clueless. So this is really good to know how it works.
Oh, absolutely. And just so you know, I am recording the class. So whenever we're done this afternoon, what I'll do is I'll upload the video of the entire class into Back Agent. That way you can watch the beginning, and then if there's anything that you felt like you missed, it'll be there.
Oh, that's great.
Yes.
Yeah, because I'm trying to create like the headers and stuff like that to put in emails and stuff. So
Yes.
this will work. I'm excited actually to go try it myself to see if I can actually do what I see you doing so easily over here.
Yes, yes. Well, Rita is a master at Canva, and so for you specifically, I mean, she would just be phenomenal because she could just walk into her office and she can show you anything that you might get stuck on. So anyway, I'm so glad to have you again, and if you need anything, you just let us know.
I appreciate it.
Thanks, Nicole.
Did you?